Hi there, I'm Namish Patel Owen, and you're listening to Live Your True Self, episode 100. After 18 years doing corporate, in 2018 it became about doing me, doing what I love. Not that long ago, I too felt stuck, lost, and longing to be something more, asking myself, who am I anyway, and what's my purpose? Full of self-doubt and fear of failure, fast forward to this moment and you'll see a version of me that's true to myself, calm, confident and clear, even in the messiness. Inspired by Krishna's words in the Bhagavad Gita, the mind can be the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. So perspective is everything. No matter where you are on your spiritual journey as a high achiever, I'm here to guide you. Together we'll step out of your head, the busyness in your mind, and drop into your heart so that you too can awaken your true self and live life more meaningfully in this moment. Take a deep breath and let's connect within. Welcome back, lovely one. I am super grateful you're here. Today I'm celebrating because we can, and also because it's our 100th podcast episode. 100 conversations, me and you living our true selves. Look how far we have come. It is an honor to be here with you, to share my voice, speak from the heart, and spark meaningful conversations that I trust lights something up within you, my lovely, dear, high achieving friend. And timing is perfect. If you're listening in real time, it's the summer solstice today, 21st of June at tomorrow. At the time I'm recording this, it's the 20th. 21st of June, which is the longest day of the year. And I don't know so much about this, but what I do know is that it's a turning point in nature, in the cosmos, and brings an energy shift. Like there is a lot of shift and movement in higher places, and it definitely brings a shift in energy for me, more light, more clarity, and an invitation to expand and to let go of what no longer serves me, and to let the seeds I've sown truly flourish and grow. And it's a season for change and a season for goodness and newness. So today I'm pausing to mark the moment in our journey, in my journey and in yours too, because I know if you are here, you are on this path of personal growth, spiritual growth, inner growth, whatever you want to call it. But whenever you're tuning in, whether you're listening in real time or after the summer solstice, let me just invite you to pause and let's take a moment to celebrate you, to honor this new season, this new chapter, this new energy, because I know that you have been digging deep, and I know that you have been working super hard and navigating through all the things. So I am also celebrating you. In terms of the podcast, we're celebrating failure. And I'm not celebrating success in the way high achievers usually do, like, you know, not the big wins, the milestones, or shiny objects and achievements. With so much love, compassion, and honesty, today I'm celebrating my failures. This is the 100th episode, and what a perfect way to celebrate. Rather than tell you all my successes and achievements and let that inspire you, actually I'm celebrating my own failures and trust that that will actually inspire you. And it's the moments where I've fallen short, things that didn't go to plan, the business decisions that flopped, the energy that was off, the days I doubted myself and what I was doing, the times I lost my way, ignored my own advice, or went down a rabbit hole of overthinking instead of trusting and believing. Because failure through the lens of the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedic scripture, which I'm a student of, and the foundation of how I operate in life, and it's like my guidebook for life. It isn't the end, right? Failure through the lens of the Bhagavad Gita and the teachings isn't the end. It isn't failure as we know it in society. It's the classroom. It's our growth. And the Bhagavad Gita teaches us that you have the right to action, not the fruits of your action. And so much of my own suffering and what I often see in my clients comes from trying to control the fruit, trying to prove ourselves, prove our worth through our results and outcomes, right? These are the fruits of our action. And getting tangled in ego and attachment rather than our purpose and devotion and presence with what is. So this episode, lovely one, is my offering, a love letter to the human moments, a gentle reminder that falling short doesn't mean we're off path, we're off track. It means we're living the practice. We're in the classroom and taking the teachings of life. I'm not here because I've mastered the teachings or mastered my mind. I'm here because I'm living them. I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm here to do it with you day by day, one choice at a time, one misstep at a time, one gentle return again and again when my brain takes me off my energy. And if you've ever felt like you're behind, like you should know better, please remember this. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Not perfect, but present. Eyes and heart wide open. A work in progress. Walking each other home to our true selves. This is what we're doing. So, in the spirit of openness, honesty, and celebration, let me share where I've fallen short, where navigating my brain has been a little bit off. And it's not in like dramatic ways, but in the subtle everyday moments where I forgot the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, where I disconnected, where I noticed the misalignment between what I know and how I show up. Because one of the key concepts that my work is rooted on from the Bhagavad Gita, which reminds us the mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and the enemy as well. So often I've experienced both. I've experienced the friend and I've experienced the enemy. Moments where my mind uplifted me with clarity, calm, and, my true energy, and moments where it pulled me into spirals of doubt, pressure, or self-judgment, creating all the emotions. So these are quiet ways I have fallen out of alignment, or I have failed, which I am so open to sharing with you and celebrating. Let me share a few which I've themed into 7 areas. Maybe you'll recognize a few of these too. But before I do, let me share this quote by Rumi. "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Beautifully said, and so relevant, especially when reflecting on these failures, which have certainly brought light to me. Let's begin. Number 1, control and attachment. Trying to control things I simply can't. Forcing plans and activities to work instead of letting them flow, and getting attached to outcomes instead of staying connected to the action. And the examples that I'll use here is specifically during my yoga teacher training earlier this year, when I really wanted to master a specific pose. And I, on occasion, tried to force it, and this was a headstand, and I ignored the signals my body was sending, and also ignored the busyness in my mind, which would definitely just put me off. And instead of being present, I was kind of like forcing myself to get the headstand, and that in itself, just the way I say it, it shows that it's like in this get energy versus just allowing and just letting it flow. And the moment I stopped being in flow, it's like yoga stopped being yoga and it became striving. And of course, when I just let it flow, on another occasion, of course, I got the headstand and have been in some amazing mind-body connection alignment and really shifting things like I've never experienced before. And the other example I'd use here is also in business. When I launched a particular program that I'd poured my heart and soul into, and I visualized a certain number of sign-ups, and when they didn't come, of course, I doubted myself and told myself all the reasons why it didn't work and why it wasn't good enough and why I didn't do all the things and I could have done more. And I simply forgot the teaching. You have the right to action, not the fruits of your action. I was so attached to the fruit, the sign-ups, the people, the clients, the growth for my business, and making it all a success, and not necessarily the devotion behind the seed I was planting, right? So the intention was just off, and I was focused on what I could get from it versus just serving from a place of love and trusting that the outcome is the outcome and it will happen in its own divine time. So that is number 1, control and attachment. Number 2, heart versus head. Getting stuck in my head when I know that it's all about dropping into my heart, and acting from a place of fear or pressure versus love and not coherence between the mind and the heart. And also, this is related to making decisions that didn't fully feel aligned, or that I made and then ended up second guessing myself later, or like just again and again. And that is definitely a failure of me just living in my head versus dropping into my heart. And there are days when my head or like my mind is loud and noisy. And, there's thoughts like, what will people think? Is this right? What if I fail? What if I get it wrong? I don't know how. And just, lots of noise happening in my head. And I remember trying to plan my my kind of marketing strategy, and I was overthinking the minutia of detail, and trying to map it all out in a bit of a spreadsheet, and questioning sort of every decision. And it looked good on paper, but something felt off, and my heart was whispering, a simpler path, make it easy. But I wasn't listening. I made decisions and I mapped it all out from a place of fear, and I have to do these things and I should do these things, and not a place of alignment. And then I second guessed endlessly, and of course I didn't follow the plan because it didn't feel aligned and it was too much hard work. And so the mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and the enemy as well, just like I said. And in those moments, I was in conflict with myself and not in tune with the wisdom and, that my intuition within, and just trusting that whatever I come up with, a simpler path or a simpler plan is just perfectly okay and fine. So yes, failure number 2 is spending too much time in my head versus my heart. Number 3, energy and intention. This is about not checking in on the energy behind my actions. And this is something I teach, and something I'm so in tune with, because it's all about energy. And yet, as I said, I have the human brain, and so I have the human moments. And it's not, checking the energy behind my actions in terms of is whatever it is that I'm doing coming from a place of love or a place of fear. And it can really only come from those two places. In the simplest form, I can just literally ask myself, is this from intention behind this love, or is the intention behind this coming from a place of fear? And in which case you end up doing for the sake of doing instead of being connected to your energy, a place of service, giving and impact and, contribution. And also in terms of energy, it's depending on what energy you're in. I tend to find that I'm reacting to situations instead of responding with awareness. It's like this eyes wide open versus just letting the emotions drive. Because there's this idea, which is when, I can't remember who said it, but when emotions are high, intelligence is low. And so you have to allow yourself to feel and be aware before reacting to situations. And there have been times specifically where I perhaps posted on social media or, on other platforms from a place of I have to. And that is not my energy. And it's like trying to tick a box because I've got to show up today and I've got to show up everywhere. But the energy behind it was off. And perhaps it was rushed, or perhaps it was misaligned or fear-based. And of course, it didn't feel fulfilling or sustainable. And I always say, your energy radiates and people pick up on it. So unsurprisingly, I'm sure those posts or messages perhaps didn't land as well as they could. And other times I know that I've reacted too quickly, perhaps to someone else's reaction or a comment or something someone said that's triggered me, maybe one of my kiddos' outbursts or meltdowns. And instead of pausing, I jumped in, and I had this way of explaining it, which is jumping in from my wound and not my wisdom, right? So when you're reacting in a given moment, you're reacting from a feeling, from a wound, versus your wisdom, in which case, a pause, a deep breath, and an insight where you just think about, how do I want to deal with this that keeps me aligned to who I truly am? And so when I check the energy behind my actions and move from presence instead of pressure and act from a place of presence instead of pressure, everything shifts. I feel differently, and then my energy and people's interaction with my energy lands way better. And that is growth and learning. So number 3 is energy and intention. Number 4, capacity and potential. And this one's a bit tender. They all are, but this one is as well. This is about staying small when I know I'm meant to expand. And it's all or nothing thinking, which I know as high achievers, we have this tendency. And I describe it as, it's like, it has to be this or that, right? It's like black and white, forgetting the beauty of both and, right? It can be this and it could be that. And also overthinking, procrastinating, judging myself for, not being me, essentially, which is so ironic and circular. But because this is my work and I'm so tuned into it, the times where my energy is off, as I just described, I have to catch myself. And sometimes I do find myself judging myself and not being the person I teach people to be, like tuning into some of the concepts that I'm even talking about today. So I've sometimes stayed small by hiding in books or trainings or learnings, and it felt safe. But the truth, at times I was conserving and I was hiding. There was some times where that was the right thing for me to do, and I certainly did that with so much love and intention, particularly when I was grieving. But other times I've noticed that, it's my default, and I'll go and do something that's safe. And, I told myself I needed more knowledge, when really, actually what I needed was more courage to show up imperfectly, courage to take up space, courage to do it anyway. And I have done so much of that. Like, here we are, episode 100 of this podcast. Like, hand on my heart, I'm so proud of the courage that I have taken. But actually, deep down, I know I've got capacity and potential for so much more over time and even going forward. And part of that has been just not fully believing in myself, and just not managing my mind, as I know that my mind is my biggest asset. And when I manage that, I tap into my potential and I tap into my capacity, and I'm open and willing to show up and give anything a go, quite frankly. And so, this is a tender one. And the believing piece is key to here. When you believe in who you are, you believe in what you offer and what you do, you will show up from a place where you are open to anything. And people tune into that belief because, again, when you believe in yourself, other people believe in you too. And so, there was definitely a time where I was not believing in the value of my paid offerings, or that people wanted what I offer in terms of the business. And so I ended up kind of holding myself back and not promoting and not showcasing all the goodness. And, I just kept refining and kept fine-tuning instead of just inviting and just tapping into my potential, being imperfect and just going. And it wasn't that my work isn't valuable. It's just because I didn't believe. I just got stuck in my head. I doubted myself. And that's a reflection of my inner world, not necessarily the transformation I offer and the value of coaching and meditation and yoga and all the things that I offer. And every time I choose to show up anyway, I embody a little bit more of my own power. And that helps others, the people that tune in, do the same. And that just is everything for me. So, yes, this is capacity and potential. It does not have to be all or nothing thinking. It can be both. And we can honor our energy and, feel the feelings, for example, and also serve and show up. Like, we can have both. Number 5, mind, body, soul disconnection. For me here is, as an example, I'm consistent with movement of the physical body, my yoga, my working out, my walking, my morning practices of movement. It's habitual and a source of energy that fuels me for the day ahead. But there have been times where I have passed on breath work and stillness and rest. And this is for the energy body. So I'm all good with moving the physical body, the body that I can see, right? But then underneath that, we all have an energy body. And we work on that through breath work, as I say, and stillness. And there's other modalities, of course, but this is what I practice. And I've passed on those practices, and worse, I've judged my body. Particularly for me is sort of my tummy area, and I've discounted when I've needed to rest. And this is my failure, right? This is my failure. It's like, I have this beautiful body. We all have this beautiful body. This is what we've been given. And this is what we get to work with. So even if I know logically, right, even though there's parts of me that perhaps I want to change, I still get to love it. I still get to acknowledge it, and particularly my tummy, because I've birthed 2 babies and housed 2 babies, and I'm so, so grateful, and it's all good. So, this is a failure of mine. And also, yeah, this rest thing, like I am such a stickler of sitting still. It's just tricky, although I'm getting better at it, certainly with meditation and finding a comfortable sitting position. Oh my gosh, it's worth just saying that. Like meditation, the depth of meditation comes from really being able to sit in a comfortable, steady position. And the key thing here is your hips are higher than your knees. And you can use a cushion, you can use blankets, like whatever it is. But when I shifted that, the stillness, it is beautiful. It really is beautiful and has created a new depth. So I'm doing that. But yes, resting, a bit more tricky. But anyway, yeah, this is it. I wasn't listening to my body. I wasn't honoring my body, and genuinely, hand on heart, I'm so sorry for those times, and I give myself so much love and compassion. And if this resonates with you, like, just put your hand on your heart, right here, right now, and just tell your body, like, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that you are a walking, living, breathing miracle. And yeah, for me, when I talk about these, failures, so to speak, or shortcomings, it's not self-discipline, it's actually self-disconnection. And yeah, it comes from being disconnected. As soon as I connect my mind, body, and soul, I'm back on it. And I'm so grateful for that. Number 6, measuring success. For a long time, I measured success by numbers and focusing on what I haven't done instead of acknowledging what I have. And this was a podcast a couple of weeks ago. And our brain just wants to tune into all the things we haven't done and all the things that are yet to be done versus just like, look at all the progress and the achievement that you have done. And the numbers was something that in marketing and in corporate, targets and all the things, KPIs, they all just are there in front of you. And when those numbers don't grow fast enough or are off target, it feels like you're not growing. I felt like I wasn't growing. But when I stop and reflect and I can see the impact, the transformation, the connection, the feedback from people, a single message from someone who felt seen and heard and held in a call with me, like whether they just jump on a clarity call for coaching, someone I've never met before, and they feed that back to me, that for me is real success. And that's my definition now. It's not, yes, there is a financial metric for sure, but for me, when I focus on my values, one of them being service to others and, impact or contribution, that far outweighs any financial metric. And that's me doing what I love. And so that is a measure. The other related piece here that is worth mentioning is a shortfall is to do with time. And I've done a lot of work on time, and time can feel sometimes like a pressure, like I'm racing a clock and rushing instead of trusting. And I know that when I breathe and slow down and trust divine timing, I realize there's no rush to be who I already am, right? It's like that in itself moves me away from who I am. And so, yeah, sometimes time can get me a little bit caught up, but I've done a lot of work on time and it's definitely got better. And we all have the same amount of time in a given day, no matter who you are, no matter what role you are, no matter what title you have, like no matter what, we all have 24 hours in the day, but it's what we do with it. It is the energy we bring in that 24 hours a day, in the awake day, and even in the sleep day. It's what you do in your sleep as well. That's what matters, and that's what's gold. So, another shortfall. Number 6, measuring success. And finally, number 7, emotions and processing. This shortfall is about not always creating space and allowing myself to process emotions, and sometimes being hard on myself when I was simply being human with a heavy heart. Sometimes I can skip the step of feeling before trying to fix or just move on. And I often notice that I rush to solve the problem, to change the feeling, or move on quickly, or just have this desire to not feel the way I feel and want to just move past it. And I know that that comes from years in a corporate environment where I was conditioned to focus on facts and data and not feelings. And there was like this unspoken standard, which was don't bring emotion into it. So when you were just, in that corporate setting, it was almost like you had to mask how you were really feeling and not bring that into, kind of formal conversations or meetings or presentations or whatever it might be. And so I know that I can have that tendency sometimes. But more recently, I've noticed myself feeling more irritable than usual. The waves of perimenopause are real, and I know this is hormonal and totally natural, and it isn't a shortfall. My body is recalibrating and doing what it needs to do at this stage and season of my life. And I give myself so much grace. And if this is you, you can too. But still, it's not easy. There are moments where I don't recognize myself. Feeling irritable doesn't feel like me. And of course, I want to move past it and not be irritable. And yet, that's where I find myself. And again, it's just allowing myself to meet me and the feeling as it is where I am. And maybe this is part of becoming, part of learning how to meet every part of myself with grace, with compassion, and with love. And what I do know is that when it comes to emotions, we need space and not quick fixes. And so that is a massive learning for me. Healing doesn't happen when we shame ourselves for feeling some of the heavy emotions like sadness, disappointment, overwhelm, grief, frustration. We get to feel those feelings. Now, sometimes there are some unhelpful feelings, and this is like a total different podcast, like envy, jealousy, kind of rage. I'm not talking about those feelings. I'm talking about the feelings that we feel because we're human. And it happens when we allow ourselves to fully feel. And the processing comes when we name the emotion in our body. We allow ourselves to experience it, feel it. without needing to change it or having judgment over it. And when we talk openly and honestly about what's really going on inside, that's processing. And as I say, sometimes I have a tendency to not want to allow myself to do that. But genuinely, more and more, I know that this is the work and this is so, so important. And I've often just allowed myself, deep breath, hand on my heart, and just sit and feel and experience and cry and do whatever it is that is present and calling me to do. And that is allowing, and just that exercise or that act softens the intensity of the emotion for sure. And you could say that's exactly what I'm doing here, right? Sharing what I've been processing and actually turning it into a celebration, celebrating it, because why not? Each moment I've shared has been one of allowing and airing and feeling, and also kind of taming and forgetting and returning to my true self. And it's a gentle reminder that living the teachings, being sattvic, pure, unattached with love, isn't about perfection. It's about noticing when we stray and gently bring ourselves back and choosing again from a place of love. This is my work. This is my growth. And if it resonates with you, if you're here listening, I believe some of it might be yours too. And that's okay. I am here for you and we are walking this path together. So rest assured, we can do this. And even though this episode is called Celebrating Failure, these 7 areas I've shared aren't quote unquote failures in the way we've been taught to see them. Actually, their awareness, their feedback, their insight, they're part of the path and part of my journey, certainly, and the practice to grow and evolve spiritually. And it's the courage to keep showing up again and again and trying. It's unbecoming, right? It's shining a light on who I'm not, right? Who I'm not, so I can be closer to who I truly am. And this is the work, and I share it with you because with so much love, I want you to know that you're not behind, you're not broken, you're on a path just like me. And we're in it together, as I said. As we wrap up, one final story. Late last year, I watched the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix, The Last Dance, while running on the home treadmill, of course. And one quote hit me right in the heart, and it's something that I always come back to. And he said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games, 26 times. I've been trusted to take the winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed." The words of Michael Jordan. it's not the avoiding of failure that makes us truly amazing and who we truly are. It's our willingness to rise from it again and again, inch by inch, moving closer and closer to who we really want to be. So, on this 100th episode, here's to 100 more failures for us, 100 more chances to return, reconnect, and rise, and to celebrate every single step of becoming. Another final wrap up. I want to give a shout out to my beautiful husband, Steve, who has just completed Land's End to John O'Groats cycle challenge, and he did 100 miles every day, and it was about 1,000 miles start to finish. And so also on this 100th episode, I just want to say how super duper proud I am of him for his journey of 100, albeit he done so well. There was one or two setbacks, but such resilience, such inner strength, such courage, and I just am in awe of what he has just overcome. And he also arrives home tomorrow, so I'm so grateful for this particular moment. Thank you for being here and tuning into this celebratory episode. I would love to hear from you. What resonated with you? What perceived quote unquote failures, right? What failures are quiet growth moments for you? Having heard what I've shared, what are your quiet growth moments? Are you ready to celebrate those? I would love to hear from them. You can reach out to me, you can drop me a note and share. I would love to celebrate with you. Thank you for letting me share this with you. It's been liberating and freeing, and that in itself is a celebration. So, thank you for being here. It's an honor to guide you, to walk with you and grow alongside you on this path as spiritual beings, having this human experience, navigating through life, being who we truly are and doing what we love. I'll see you next time. Until then, keep shining your light and may you always live your true self. Namaste. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Live Your True Self podcast. If you're ready to go deeper into your spiritual growth journey, visit me at namishapatelowen.com to learn more about my work and how I can guide you. And be sure you're signed up for Yoga Life Weekly, your love note to inspire who you're being while you're doing. And also subscribe to Yoga Life with Namisha over on YouTube for simple, practical meditations and teachings you can live by every day. It's an honor to guide you in reconnecting with who you truly are. Bye for now.